Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of No Way Jose, starring the Boston Mass himself, Jose Raymond. And now, from somewhere in the great state of Massachusetts, please welcome the Boston Mass, Jose Raymond. What's up, dude?
What's happening, buddy?
Not too much. Yeah, I only bother you for these when I have something I feel really strongly about, and I think you're going to agree with me, because if you're not, what's the point? No, I'm just kidding. I like different opinions, but I think we're going to have a similar opinion on this one. Synthol. So I made the title question of this: do all pros use Synthol? So first of all, you're a pro and you've known several pros over the years. Do all of you guys use Synthol?
Hell no. No, and no. And it's hilarious to me that so many people believe that. No, not a chance. I mean, I know very few, in fact, that do. I know of a few that have told me that they did at one point. Yeah. None of the guys that I competed with, in the 212, I take that back. There were a few who had at one point in their career, but by the time that they were 212 guys, they didn't have it in their shoulders anymore. Yeah. I think we all know about one guy. But yeah, it's not as prevalent as people want to think it is. And when it is, it's quite obvious. It looks disgusting. It doesn't take on the normal shape of a muscle, so it stands out. There's a guy in Brazil right now that Nick did a video on him not too long ago, and it doesn't look good at all in any way. So it's really obvious. I would rather have a lagging body part than a really funky one.
Well, see, the argument here is going to be, and it always is, a lot of guys are using it and they're doing it so well, you'd never guess. It's only the people who screw up or go overboard where the shape of the muscle is distorted and you have those lumpy, weird looking muscles. Those are the only ones we know about. But there's so many more guys that you never suspect because they're doing it quote unquote correctly or more moderately. Do you believe that?
There may be something to that. It's certainly possible, but I mean, I was in close proximity, and I'm one of those huggy feely kind of guys. So I go up to guys and grab them and feel their shit, and I can tell if there's something in there, just by touching them. And if it is funky, I'll grab it. When I was covering the Vancouver Pro, and after the show, I was hanging out talking to Hadi and Hani, and Hani was like, "Dude, they keep busting his balls about his shoulders." Yeah. And I'm like, "Well, what is it?" So I went right up to him, and I was palpating his shoulder really hard, pushing in on it, and it was just scar tissue, like a hard knot. It wasn't like it was huge inflamed synthol. You could tell it was like a hard knot, like maybe he didn't know you had to switch areas and move it around. But it certainly didn't look like synthol to me. Now, if a few years later now he continues hitting those spots, then it's going to look funky. And I think he should never hit that spot ever again, and get some real massage therapy to break that up as much as he can, or even a surgery if possible. But I don't want to believe Hadi is injecting synthol into his shoulders after being marked down for it, and it wasn't even that, and having a coach like Hani who would be like, "Dude, do not do that," so I think it's just scar tissue. Obviously there's a bunch of people that do it. The clowns you see on Instagram with, like, it looks like they have basketballs in their chests or tumors in their arms. It does not look good. And what we do is bodybuilding. You're judged off of everything from your hair, your skin, the way you move, the way you present yourself. and Synthol is definitely not going to help. So I don't see it, especially in the top tier of guys.
Well, that's interesting you should say that because, Trigilli did a video about Synthol last week, and he also referenced the other Nick Miller from Nick Strength and Power, who made the statement that he believes 7 out of the top 10 in the Mr. Olympia lineup are using Synthol. And I think he even inferred further that it was the top 7 and the bottom 3. So that would mean Big Ramy. These are the top 7 from last year. Big Ramy, Brandon Curry, Hadi Chupin, Hunter Labrada, Nick Walker, William Bonac, and Ian Valier, all shot up full of Synthol, which leaves only Justin Rodriguez, whose shoulders have come under. I've talked shit about his shoulders many times when they look extra puffy and round. Akim Williams was 9th and Mohammed Shaban was 10th. So a couple of those people have been, Hadi, obviously people have talked a lot about Hadi's shoulders. Ramy, people think Ramy's quads have to be injected because they're so freaky, the sweep is so freaky on them. But I've seen guys who put stuff in their quads and it never looks right. It's always the angle is wrong. It's like too square looking or something.
I do think Ramy put something in his quads, but I don't think it's Synthol. I think that's just where he does, because it looks like there's almost a little port there. It's like a little nugget on the outside of his quads. But listen, if you want to call Synthol, you look at Bonac's arms, you're like, that's all Synthol, but they've looked like that way for 20 years.
Yeah.
So he's been Synthol his whole life. Like
apparently.
He just has ridiculous muscle, and people have a tough time admitting that there are people on earth that actually look like that. Yeah. And I do not think Bonac does Synthol because every muscle he has is striated crazy. Yeah. It doesn't look funky. It's not misshapen. I don't think, like Ian, where would he put it? Where does Ian put it? In his chest?
I mean, he should put it in his calves, right? Isn't there? People always talk shit about his calves. Why doesn't he?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think Ian does it. I don't think Hunter does it. Hunter has one of the more pleasing physiques of anyone. Where would you find Synthol on him? Hadi just has those shoulders, which I think is scar tissue. I do not think the top 7 in the world who know how to train, know how to prepare, they're the best at what they do, need to rely on Synthol.
So, I mean, why is Synthol? Why did the pros that you've known, why did they choose to try it?
I don't know. I didn't ask them. So we got a buddy that in the New England bodybuilding scene for many, many, many years. He's older than you, who had those crazy arms. I did an interview with him a few years ago.
It's Jerry. We all know it's Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry's awesome. I love the guy. And he gets a lot of flack, like what a loser. He's not a loser. He's a great guy. He just, I don't know. He wanted freaky arms. I asked him why, and his answer was just like, I don't know. I don't know,
Because does he realize when he did that? Because I made a video about talking about this last week, and I mentioned Jerry because I went to the New England right when I came back from California, and he won the overall, light heavy and overall. He looked fit. He looked awesome. Beautiful physique. Beautiful light heavyweight. A couple years later, 2 or 3 years later, he comes back to New England. Same physique, except now he's got these stupid arms, like 24-inch arms. He's like 5'5" on a good day, 190, whatever. He destroyed his physique. So, that's someone that, why would you do that? If you're going to keep competing and judges are going to see that and go,
Why did, what's his name? He used to work with MD. Valentino. Why did Greg do that? You don't know. It's just like he gets carried away. Why do people that are addicted to plastic surgery and they look like the lion lady, why do they do that? There's no answer, but I'll tell you what, anyone that is in the top 10 is being judged on every little aspect. They're not going to risk their placing for doing something stupid like Synthol. I'm sure through the years there've been a few who've used Nolotol, who've used temporary inflammation enhancement, and even some that use, gear in their arms or in their shoulders. But to do Synthol is really stupid. Like, look what happened to Milos.
Yeah.
Milos has the most incredible physique, and then those arms just look so ridiculous. It didn't help him in any way. I don't see how it would help really anyone. Palumbo, his arms looked stupid when he did it.
Yeah. I mean, the argument would be, though, that you don't know the people that did it and it looked good. You'll never know because it looked real. But you could say that about me.
You can't accuse them of it.
Right.
But what I know, from what I know in my personal experience with my friends and my contemporaries that I was with on a regular basis, none of them had Synthol. None of them. Eduardo was striated everywhere. You didn't see a lump, anything. David Henry was the same way. Flex had, where was he going to put Synthol? He had
calves. He must have had really skinny calves. It was all Synthol. Yeah.
No, none of the guys I competed with could I see any Synthol. And we didn't have to be freaky like Marcus Rule or something, who I'm guessing had something in his biceps.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that may have tried it and they learned their lesson. It never really benefited them too much. Like, why didn't Marcus Rule put it in his triceps?
I think his triceps weren't as full and round. His biceps were much better than his triceps. I think he was just trying to balance his arms out. That was my theory back then.
Well, if he was trying to balance them out, why didn't he put them in his triceps?
No, he did. Yeah, that's what he did. Didn't he put them in his triceps?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
All I know is he had that crazy peak, pointy peak.
Oh yeah, that might have been fake. Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing that we go back to is, at that level, guys are doing a certain amount of cc's of oil every week. It's got to go somewhere. Yeah. You can only put so much in your glutes. You got to rotate sites, got to go delts. Some guys will go in their arms, like lats I've seen, quads. I mean, you can't put all that oil, CRT is like a cc or half cc a week, but we're talking guys who are on, 2, 3, 4 grams, maybe more of oil. It's got to keep going somewhere. So what's the difference between putting all your gear in your shoulders and putting Synthol on your shoulders? Morally, ethically, whatever.
Well, it's there's a whole lot more. I know the protocol for Synthol. It's like 3 cc's 3 times a week in that muscle.
Yeah.
You do not do that with regular oil.
Yeah.
It's not going to be enough. Never would you do that.
Right.
In the same muscle over and over again. It's madness. It's dangerous. It's got to be stupid painful. How do you even train with that? And I personally think it looks stupid when it's obvious that someone has it.
Yeah.
It looks stupid. I judge. So if I see anything that looks remotely like Synthol, I mark them down. I would even if it wasn't, if it looks like it, I'm going to mark it down. And that's probably what happened to Hadi. Like, there's probably judges that are like me. Like, if it draws my attention to it and it just doesn't look right, and we're judging, the appeal of the physique, then clearly that affects it. Whether it's Synthol or not, he's going to get marked down for it.
I mean, I made an example. I don't know if you were at the Arnold Classic Miss International. This is probably like 10 years ago. Iris Kyle had already won it like 4 or 5 times. She competed and it had been a bad shot. One of her glutes had a big red lump, and unfortunately it wasn't covered by her posing suit. So you saw a big red lump on the outside of her butt, and she ended up getting, I think, like 3rd or 4th when she was physique wise. It was like not even close. She blew everybody away. But the judges said, no, that looks, they don't want anything that's unsightly. Yeah, that's why gyno gets marked down. It's why someone shows up with a shitload of zits. Yeah, like you said, every little detail. It's the whole physical package we're looking at. We don't want to see anything that's like, nasty.
That's why you don't pin anything the last week.
No, I mean, I've heard some people go even longer, but yeah.
Yeah. She made a mistake. Something happened. And so she would have what, 11 at this point?
Oh no, that was Ms. International. It didn't happen at Olympia, thank God. It happened at the one they used to have with the Arnold, Ms. International.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting back to what you said, I actually helped a training partner. You know this guy, he's very tall. I helped him with he did Synthol for I think it was about a month. He couldn't do it himself because he was putting it in his triceps. I had to do it for him. So before, I think it was 3 times, it might've been more than 3 times a week. Before every workout, he'd come in with the loaded pins and we'd go into the family bathroom at this gym, lock the door. And this guy, you know, he's a big, tough, mean looking guy. He was almost crying like a baby. The pain was just excruciating. It was a full 3 cc right there on the tricep. And
hey, didn't he end up tearing his tricep?
I don't know, but I mean, that's obviously anytime, correct me if I'm wrong, but anytime you stick a needle into a muscle, you're causing a little bit of tear. That's why a little bit of scar tissue will form around any injection that you do. So if you're doing, and these are large gauge needle, I don't think you can put Synthol in with like a regular, like a 25 gauge. You got to go like a 23 or something. Yeah. But yeah, Synthol, so many things can go wrong with Synthol. I think muscle tears are one. I've heard like pulmonary embolism. It can go into your lungs, get clogged up and you die. I don't have I wish someone in the comments, please tell me, because I was asked, I made a comment that, you know, the late Boston Lloyd and the late Derek Anthony both died of kidney failure. And they were both heavily into SEO, site enhancement oil, which is the actual term for the Synthol, was like a brand name. And I don't know why, but I've always heard, I'm not a scientist or a doctor, that your kidneys, because they filter everything, the Synthol has to eventually go through there.
Yeah.
And I don't know the science behind it, but I strongly suspect long-term Synthol SEO usage will wreck your kidneys. And obviously without kidneys, you're dead.
Yeah. You know, I think Tom Prince might have been in that category. Nasser. What about, what's his name? Don Long.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know for sure, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. I mean, high blood pressure can wreck your kidneys too if it's untreated. Yeah. So, I mean,
the bottom line is that it's more prevalent than it should be, but it's not nearly as prevalent at the highest level that people make it out to be, as people make it out to be, as people think.
Well, they see these big, full, round muscles, and they find it impossible to believe that even a guy with spectacular genetics, loaded up on plenty of steroids, GH, insulin, whatever, could look like that unless he also injected something in there to volumize the muscle.
Yeah. Well, I'm not one of those guys. Like, if you imagine putting as much time and effort as these people do into their bodies, training, eating, sleeping, recovery, repair, training, repeat for many years in a row.
Yeah.
You know, the people accusing don't live that lifestyle. They do not live that way. They don't do all the things these guys do to look that way. And they don't have their genetics. So it's easy to say, oh, he's cheating, he's doing this, he's doing that. Now, we just agreed that it does happen. It is out there quite a bit.
Yeah.
But you cannot convince me that every one of these guys has Synthol in them.
I guess the last thing I want to ask, do you consider it cheating if someone uses that? Because look at all the different drugs guys use. I mean, steroids, growth hormone, insulin, asthma drugs, fucking DNP.
Yes, so. You don't even have to continue. Yes, it is. It's just much cheating as it would be to get an implant. Get pec implants. Like no, it's. I mean, there's got to be a limit somewhere where we cap it. Like you cannot do that.
I mean, implants are illegal. I haven't seen the rules in a very long time. I know implants, there was something in the laws about implants are grounds for disqualification. I think at one time they made a statement about SEOs and Synthol too. Do you remember anything like that?
I had never read a rule book, but I'm sure of it. That they will be marked down for sure.
Yeah.
I've asked judges, like, hey, what were you thinking about that show? And they have said, yeah, this guy's all jimmied up. It doesn't look normal.
Yeah.
And period.
Yeah.
When it's close, when it's really, really, really close. Now, if you're Flex Wheeler and you're Flex Wheeler,
Yeah.
and your arms look blown up a little bit, or your shoulders or something, and he's clear away the winner, he would have won with or without it. As long as it's not too obvious or make his physique look funky, he's still gonna win. But rarely would that happen. 99% of the time, you're gonna be marked down for it.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay the price,
and rightfully so. And
yeah.
do you remember we talked about why I couldn't use Synthol?
Why was that?
There was like not enough muscle tissue to actually even put it into in that tricep.
Yeah.
That's sad, isn't it? Even Synthol couldn't help me.
That saves you one step of idiocy.
Yeah.
Now you're only just a little bit of an idiot.
I'm still an idiot, but at least, I mean, God knows what would have happened. I would have been one of those guys like the poor Russian kid who had to get it cut out and drained and all that shit.
Oh, it's like the worst nightmare ever.
Yeah. I mean, I saw another show. There was a Discovery Channel, I think it was, had a documentary. It covered, I think they were all Brazilian. It was like they covered 3 or 4 different guys, and one of them had to go surgically get, it was like necrotic. The tissue had all died in his arms.
Oh yeah.
He had to go in there and like basically scoop it all out and sew it all up. And he went from like 25-inch arms to 15-inch arms in a matter of 8 hours. So.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so big in Brazil. It seems all those wacky videos I see seem like guys from Brazil.
Yeah, and they, from what I understand, a lot of them, because a lot of them don't have a lot of money. They don't use Synthol. They use like vitamin A oil or vitamin A and D oil. It's a vitamin oil. It's not even, it's whatever. It's not sterile in any way, shape, or form. But okay, so we're in agreement. Synthol. Not all the pros are on Synthol.
No,
Synthol is cheating. We're all in agreement. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I like talking to you. You always have mostly the same opinions. Occasionally, you correct me on some shit.
I wish there was a way to test, an easier way to tell, but the trained eye can tell if something is funky, if it isn't normal, especially if you're looking at the same guy over and over again, and then he shows up looking weird, something's up.
Right. Well, if the shoulder ones are usually the most obvious, because somebody will have, good shoulders, but then you'll see them, they'll show up at a show. All of a sudden their shoulders are like freaking cantaloupes and they're super shiny. There's not one striation anywhere. They just look like somebody blew a bunch of air into them, like a balloon. Yeah. That's pretty obvious. But I think it has cost a lot of guys placings. We don't disqualify people usually. The easiest thing is just mark them down, knock them down, second call out, third call out, when maybe they would have won or placed, like our buddy Jerry. I think he could have gone much further than he did in bodybuilding had he wanted to, if he never did that to his arms.
Yeah, I do too.
He had a beautiful physique. He really did.
Yeah.
And Greg Valentino, did you ever see what he looked like when he was like a natural?
He was awesome.
He was like 20 years old, beautiful physique, tiny waist, like a classic look to him, big arms, big shoulders, legs, everything.
Yeah. He just wanted to look like a freak. Some people, like some people put a bone in their nose or spikes coming out of their forehead. These guys put Synthol in. Yeah. It's a body modification addiction.
It is. So
more
that's
than
fine.
Bodybuilding.
Hey, like I said, if you want to do that to yourself, I shouldn't say this is America. The whole world is watching this, hopefully. You can do anything you want to your body. It's your body. You're an adult. You can become a cat. You could become a lizard. You could, anything you want. Just don't try to take that shit on stage, because no.
Yeah, do not take a shit on stage. I don't approve of it. I don't like it. And there you go. More people do it than they should, but not as many people as you think. Right. And I definitely don't think the top tier guys are using Synthol per se.
Fair enough. Well, let's close out with a plug for Nate Tello's Gym Hub Boston.
Here we go.
Yeah, how's it doing? Looks like this place is getting more crowded lately.
Phenomenal. I was there this morning working. It was beautiful. Beautiful.
It seems
great
like
atmosphere.
It's the spot, because tons of people from all these other gyms like Impact Fitness, Bayshore, wherever, I see them all at Nate's gym, at Gym Hub Boston, like once or twice a week.
Well, if you want a leg workout or a back workout, there's no better gym to go to. Even chest. I mean, he's got incredible equipment, and it's the perfect environment. You're not going to go there and just see the regular person in the everyday gym that sits on their phone and is doing emails on the machine you're trying to use. This is very specific. People come in to train a particular body part. They train like nuts and get out.
Yeah. And there's a cool little buff, little white Frenchie dog that runs around too.
Rocky. Rocky's the mascot. He's the best.
Yeah. No,
there's always people in there working hard, bikini girls and figure girls and wellness girls and jack dudes. And there's a whole good mix of people in there, and everyone's cool as hell. Yeah. And there for the same purpose. You know, it's not a gym where you go to hang out to try to find chicks. You know, it's definitely not. It's not big enough. There's no juice bar, or, you know, not a big cardio deck, or, you know, it is what it is. Even the girls that are smoke shows, they come in to train like animals, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I see. You know, Nate puts them up in the stories for Gym Up Boston. Everybody's busting their ass especially because, you know, it's typically not their home gym. It's someplace they go like once a week, once a month, twice. It's a special treat for most of us. Like if I go there, when I get there again, it's going to be a big deal because I don't have the time to get down there that often.
Right.
So when we do, everyone's there for a purpose. Everyone's driven.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
They treat it with respect, and that's what it's all about. Cool. I love it.
All right. Well, everybody, follow this man on Instagram at the Boston Mass. That's 2 E's, the Boston Mass. And maybe if you're in Boston looking to get a great personal training session, you can contact him. And he's at the Gym Hub Boston a couple days a week for sure. So hit him up if you're going to be in Boston and looking for an awesome workout. He's the man.
And also follow Senapani Circle on Telegram.
That's right.
That's a big one. We're starting to have like some special guests come on there, and a lot of funny shit happening.
Oh, you know what? Because I just interviewed Frank McGrath. That went up.
Frank's on there.
Yeah. And Flex Lewis. I'm talking to him tomorrow.
Frank's in his bathrobe 90% of the time. Guys, Flex is on there talking. Nobody understands a word he's saying. It's like he speaks a different language. Guys on there causing chaos, losing his luggage. There's always some kind of nightmare with Guy. James is in a tub with his rubber ducky. And who else? We got Antoine. Antoine's a riot. He makes all the mashup videos, and he's a talented dude, Antoine.
Yeah, I remember him making videos like 12, 15 years ago that were just hilarious.
Yeah,
he's a nut.
Evan tells bedtime stories, very convincing stories that none of it's true. And, you got Tuttle schooling us all on medical education and nutrition and motocross, all kinds of bullshit, and guns.
Yeah, that's right. He's
a great mix of groups of guys. Fuad's on there.
Good Lord, what an all-star cast. So that's Telegram. You download Telegram, and it's Centopani's Circles.
Yes.
Fair enough. All right, cool.
You'll love it.
All right. Thank you so much, Jose. This has been a cool conversation. I knew we'd have some fun with this one. So, guys, thank you all for watching. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, leave some comments. I swear I'll get back to every single one of you. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate you guys watching. Another episode of No Way Jose with the Boston Mass, Jose Raymond. We'll see you next time.
See you, bud.